Mhm.
All right. So at this point, the object has already been warped. So we went, and in order to do that, we brought the object in, and it was, a regular rectangle. We went to, hold on, let me make sure it's selected, and we went to edit, transform, warp, and we warped it like so, yada yada. All right, press enter, and it's done. Now we're gonna blend it with the rest of her body. So there's a few tricks that we want to do. Um, yeah, that's exactly what I was about to get into, layer mask. So a few tricks with the layer mask. One, the most primitive way you can do it is to just go in and create the layer mask, which is right down here. You see where it says add layer mask? Click on that, and automatically you get this box down here. So now this white box means that if I color, whatever I color black will disappear. So, and that's, you can use the eraser or you can use the paintbrush. Now this is the most basic way to do it, and just kind of erase things. But the most effective way to do it is to go in and let's grab this selection, which is already has a mask for her body that we did earlier, and I'm just going to press Control, and I'm going to click on it. As soon as I do that, you can see the outline, right? So let's go back. I'm going to take this mask off. Let's delete layer mask. And this time, before I delete layer mask, before I create a layer mask, I'm going to select this layer mask while pressing Command or Control, and I'm going to click on it. Now I got my selection, and I'm going to come back up to this layer, and then I'm going to create my layer mask, and voila. So it's all automatically fitted onto her body. So now we can start some of the blending that we were talking about before, which is our blending modes. Right here we can play with the opacity a little bit, but we can also change the blending modes from to multiply, or there was a linear, um, no, that wasn't the one, hard light, just play around with them. But now, even beyond that, one thing that you will want to do is use the eraser tool, the brush tool or the eraser tool. Heighten up, make the brush a little bit bigger, and you want to make sure the hardness is at 0%, and you can lightly brush across that so it can blend into it. Now if you really want to get detailed, but you have to be careful with this, is change the opacity of the brush, and then that way it doesn't take away everything, it just takes away some of it. So I'm going to do that over here, and I'm going to bring the opacity back up down here so you can see it better. Alright, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to go across it like this, and notice that some of it left but not all of it. But then if I go back down a little bit and do it again, and then do it again slowly, now it has a nice smooth blend going across. See that? So it looks more natural versus just having that line going across like that. Now, to get rid of the clothes, we could go about it the same way that I showed you the very first time. To get the texture off the clothes, you can go in, like, bring the opacity up here back up where the brushes are, bring the hardness back up to about 70 or 80, and then start getting rid of this. You could do it that way, or we can do it a more creative way, which is what I would prefer. I would hide this real quick, go into this layer, and I would use my selection, and I would just select that. And I'm going to pretend that this isn't there, No, I'm not. I'm gonna just go ahead and get rid of it. All right, so to get rid of something like that, I'll just press Q, grab my brush, oops, press X. If it does this, press X to switch brushes. Or you can switch it over here from black to white and then clean that up. And then press Q again to get back out of the quick mask. And when you come back over here to your mask layer, all you have to do is color within the selection. That's what I would do. So that way you won't have to be as careful. You can just kind of brush it across and get rid of it. Oh yeah, be mindful of little stuff like this. You see what happened on the finger? So I'll just, to get rid of my selection, I can go to select, deselect, or I can just press Command D, and then I'll just erase that. And some on the edge, erase that stuff. And that's pretty much, yeah. Okay, so what might be happening, since he's saying that the eraser or the brush didn't do anything, then you need to make sure that you're not in. You see how as I click over here from box to box, the white outline is over this, the white outline is over that. Make sure you are in your mask section, because sometimes you can, which I've done it with myself before, is try to work while I'm in here, and it has a completely different effect when you're using those brushes over here versus over here. So that might be the problem. If it's not, let me know. And if it comes down to it, I might just need to have you share your screen and we can work it out that way. Are there any questions though? How did I make the mask that? What do you mean the? Oh, you talking about the bottom part? Okay, so once I have a selection, or I'm gonna get rid of this mask again. So I'm gonna delete the mask and just make it back to normal. So if I have this selected, as soon as I select this bottom, let me bring this, move this up so you can see it better. Move this out of the way. Now let me do it. There we go. All right. So now you see this right here, this button right here. You click that. That's what's going to give you your mask. Now, what's going to give you your automatic mask, where it kind of mask it for you, is if you already have a mask somewhere of like, because I have a mask of her already outlined from her removing the background, I could just press Command and select that. And as soon as I select it, go to this layer where I want to mask this out, and then click on that same button, that Add Layer Mask, and then it'll automatically crop out what I want it to crop out. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, if you don't already have a mask, then what you can do is do it the old-fashioned way. And what I would do is change the opacity just so I can see where the arm is. Then grab my layer mask and make sure I'm in that mask, and make sure I have black selected, and I'm going to start erasing. And then once I get closer to her arm and all that, then I'll start zooming in so I can make sure that it's not overlapping or anything like that. Yep. So how is that working for you? All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna post this because the last two videos I tried to do did not work, but this should be able to help you if you guys have any more of the same questions. All right, and cut.